Advice and opinions expressed during the program are solely that of John Deere, not WBEV or Good Karma Brands. Why can't I get it to work?
A couple of different factories, primarily in operations, supply management, a little bit of time in strategy. I've been here at the Horicon factory for the past 5 years now as the manager of operations at our West Campus facility.
Now, being from the DeForest area, going out of state, was it kind of like coming home to come back here to the Wisconsin plant?
Sure was. Yep, back closer to family. So, welcome change from the company. Yep.
Give me a little bit of the history, if you could, of John Deere, a little bit of the background.
Yeah, so we're one of the 50 oldest publicly traded companies in the country. Established in 1837, John Deere created a self-scouring plow was our original product. The history in Horicon, we've been in Horicon since 1861. Started as Van Brunt Manufacturing, making grain drills, and became John Deere, purchased by John Deere in 1911. We've made everything from snowmobiles to bicycles. Current product offering is premium riding lawn equipment at our downtown campus, and then utility vehicles at our west campus.
Okay, now I'm trying to, in my brain here, picture where everything is. I know where the downtown campus is because I go through Horicon. You got to drive right past it.
Right, yep.
The west campus is the one that's on like 33, a little bit out of town.
It's on Highway E, Lake Street as you come out of town. Yep.
That's right, okay.
Yep.
That's where we're at. And that's that newer portion of the facility.
Correct.
How big is that portion? That's pretty...
The total factory across both campuses is about 1.5 million square feet under roof. It's split pretty close to 50-50. I think West Campus is around 600,000 square feet. That was originally built in the late 70s when we installed our stamping facility. And then the newest part of the building, probably the one you're thinking about, was built in 2016. And that's what we call our Gator Works, expanded for utility vehicle product line.
Now, how many different Gator products do you guys produce? Are you guys like in charge of all the different Gator options that are out there?
Everything except for our Pro Gators. Those are built in the Southeast, tied to our golf product line. But everything from our Work Series, T-Series units, that probably the ones you think about your grandpa driving around the farm on, up to our mid-size and full-size, our newer models. With the cabs, HVAC, leather seats.
Like the ones you see driving around towns that now have.
Yep,
okay.
Yep.
That's kind of cool. Let's talk a little bit about, and I want to stress this because we're talking about manufacturing. And when people think about Wisconsin, usually the first thing they think about is beer, brats, and cheese. They think about agriculture. We're the dairy state. But here in kind of the Dodge County area, the greater south central Wisconsin area, we do have a lot of manufacturing that is out there and available.
Absolutely. Yep.
John Deere being one of many manufacturers that are in the area, and that means a lot of jobs, a lot of people employed. Tell me about John Deere's impact on that.
Yeah, our current employment's around 750 people.
Wow.
215 or so of those are salaried workforce support staff, and the rest are our production folks, proudly represented by IAM, International Association Machinists Union. So we have, in terms of production jobs, we have jobs in assembly, welding, machining, stamping, of course, maintenance and support. We have a paint unit, and that's one of the kind of the exciting things about working at John Deere Horicon or John Deere broadly is that you have the opportunity to kind of test the water in a bunch of different processes, all the way up to and including management, development within the company. We have our own, in terms of the salaried positions, we have our own developmental engineers that sit on site at Horicon for both riding lawn equipment and utility vehicles, manufacturing support staff. We have finance, HR, all the professional functions tied to supporting a factory that size and employment of that size.
What's interesting about that is, from my point of view looking at it, it's not just those skilled hands-on trades, not just people who can weld or who can assemble things together, but there is a lot of other areas of expertise that go into making John Deere Horicon Works in general, John Deere in general, a successful manufacturer?
Absolutely, yeah. Everything from supervision and management to engineering to quality control. And the nice thing is that in general, John Deere is willing and able to train, whether that's through an apprentice program in a skilled trade, or learning a new skill in terms of welding or machining or stamping. We'll train all of those. And then many of our salaried positions develop out of folks that started out as a production workforce on the floor. They decided that they wanted to get into quality or engineering or administration of some sort. So there's plenty of opportunities to grow both within the company at Horicon and even different locations throughout the country and world with John Deere if you're so interested.
Speaking of growth, you mentioned about 750 people on hand here in Wisconsin. Is that a number that you see growing? Are you expecting to grow that number, to grow expansion more? Or, are you as big as you're going to get, John Deere?
No, we've been north of 1,000 people in the last 10 years or so, and that kind of ties to the industry, whether that's tractors and gators of demand all the way up to, in our current state, the ag industry is in a little bit of a downturn. So that employment level ebbs and flows based on demand. But we are always flexing that workforce up and down based on demand. And then also looking at expansion of product lines and things like that. So that could drive increased employment as we find new different products that move in and out of the factories. Gators have come and gone from different factories, so they're back in our factory now, and we have, like I said, product development is on site. So always looking at new products to drive increased demand on our current product offering or different products that we're planning on bringing to the market.
So talking about your actual industry itself, obviously when people think John Deere, most people think of the tractors. That's what they're thinking, whether it be the riding lawnmowers or those green ones you see out in the field, harvesting, especially this time of year. We see a lot of them
everywhere
out
this
there.
time of year. They're great.
So tell me a little bit about your consumers, and does it matter that you're here as opposed to somewhere else?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of our product line, our utility vehicles, we kind of feel like we brand towards the work vehicle side of things. So we are linked to large property owners, ranchers, farmers, things like that are planning to do work and have a little fun with their vehicle also. You do see them driving around town and things like that. So certainly linked to folks that are in agricultural in Wisconsin and around the Midwest, riding lawn equipment. Similar, that's a commercial product, but tied to folks that have larger pieces of property they want to have a lawn tractor on. So definitely some value in having our production near many of the end users. And then, like we led off with, Wisconsin being a heavy manufacturing area in upper Midwest, being close to a lot of the areas that provide us components that go in also has a lot of value in terms of locating here in the upper Midwest.
My thought process now is thinking about the people who actually work there. You mentioned a lot of people who start off and then they work their way up, they grow their career, find themselves potentially working into a salary position. Are you seeing a decent amount of longevity from people? Are they really enjoying working at John Deere? And if so, why do they enjoy working there?
Well, pay and benefits is probably the best place to start with. We offer premium pay and benefits. That's a lot of the reason that gets folks both in the door and then wanting to stay. We talked about the different career development opportunities in terms of getting your toes into different areas. When I do career coaching discussions with some of my folks, it's always kind of the "what do you want to be when you grow up" question.
I still haven't figured that out myself.
Right, and it's hard to say what's the job you want when you retire, but it is kind of in the next 5 to 10 years, what are some things you're interested in? And in general, the ability to find those interests within the company is some of the reason that folks tend to stay for a career. And myself and many others, when we hired in, we weren't looking for a job, we were looking for a career. And you'll find a lot of people like myself that have 20, 30 years with the company, whether that's in one location, one function, they found something they really loved, or across the upper Midwest or the country.
One of the things I keep hearing about a lot of skilled labor jobs, especially things like welding, assembly, paint, all of that, is that some of the workforce is starting to age out and retire. They are getting to that point. Are you guys finding that you're getting enough interest to fill those slots with new people, or are you having to reach out to the schools, build any partnerships there?
All of the above. Yeah, okay. I would say we are having plenty of success finding folks to backfill those. Yeah, we've got kind of an ongoing retirement trend, but no issues finding folks that are willing to come in and train, either interested in welding, assembly, stamping, or a skilled trade like electricians or mechanics that will come in and put them through our apprentice programs. And you can hire in as an assembler or a welder or something like that, and decide you want to try your hand at maintenance, whether that's electrician or mechanic, and we'll get you into the apprentice program that we work through with our union in terms of seniority to get folks developed in that manner if that's something you're interested in. So I would say we want to work actively with our local community colleges, tech colleges, high schools to keep folks interested in manufacturing. But that interest is out there, and we're having success finding folks that want to come and build a career with John Deere.
One of the things I always like to ask any manufacturing company, especially one that has large facilities that aren't just right here, but outside the state of Wisconsin, why is it important for John Deere that they have the facilities they have right here in Wisconsin?
I guess, can you clarify the question a little bit?
Well, just like if you didn't have the facility in Wisconsin, how would that impact John Deere if you guys weren't here located?
Sure. So, we always have to work on being competitive both nationally and globally. And, John Deere in Wisconsin, we've demonstrated competitiveness. We are close to many of our other factories. So our stamping facility, for example, supplies parts to some of the big factories in Iowa and down in the southeast on the other riding lawn equipment. So being somewhere we can both receive parts from our supply base that's local and then ship parts to either our customers if it's a finished good or our sister factories and be close saves on logistics costs, less risk on interglobal, whether it's Russia or China or other risks that we don't have to consider when you talk about importing goods from elsewhere. Being a local manufacturer provides us that competitive advantage in terms of how we supply our customers and sister factories.
So let's take a moment and speak to the individual who's out there. Maybe they're thinking about getting into manufacturing. Maybe they're getting out of high school this year. Maybe they've been in the workforce for a few years. Maybe they've been in the workforce for quite a few years. And they're thinking, John Deere, maybe that's the place for me. I'm hearing pay and benefits. I'm hearing career coaching. I'm hearing, potential longevity. That's all great. But then they're wondering, am I qualified? Do I need to go to school to learn this stuff ahead of time? Do I need to have a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree to get in there and start the process? What do you say to somebody like that?
I would say we can, if you're interested, we can train you. And, whether that's a 2-year tech degree, whether you got 20 years of experience in a trade, whether you're a mid-career engineer, if you don't have the skills, we can definitely train you to get there. And I would even say, multilingual. We have no concerns on hiring folks where English is a second language. We have visual training on the line in terms of work instructions. So, we're interested in as much background skill as possible. We want to, bring new skills and thoughts and experiences to our factory to help us improve. But you don't have to, I would say if you're interested in John Deere as a career, apply, and whatever skills you don't have, we are actively training all the time to get folks both onboarded in a new role or, cross-trained in a different role if that's the interest they took once they got their foot in the door.
Now, we talked very briefly, you'd mentioned premium pay, and that tells me that this is potentially the kind of place where you can go work at, and you don't have to worry about having already put yourself into massive debt from going to school, whatever. Most people I know that work in manufacturing, be it John Deere or other facilities, they usually have, the nicer, newer truck. They've got the toys. They feel a little more comfortable financially.
Absolutely.
Have you found that has made working at John Deere a little more attractive for people?
Yeah, I think that's a big draw is that, we're all proud of the products we make. We're all proud of each other and our team. But at the end of the day, we talk about it, nobody's going to work out of charity. They're there to make money. And our I mentioned our partnership with the IAM. They're union represented, and they've negotiated a very good contract that rewards our employees for the work they're doing. We're building high quality equipment. We are training or developing high quality skills, and that pay and those benefits, even when times are a little tougher, the benefits are really nice to have, to know that you're kind of covered by the things that can come at you from a health or otherwise standpoint. Yep.
Let's go back and talk a little bit more about the facility. So we know you did the add-on facility recently, and I remember being there for, I believe, the ribbon cutting for that, and doing some video at that time, and I was blown away by just how it didn't look like your typical, and I hate to use this term, but dirty manufacturing facility where you expect to walk in, you're like, all right, everybody's going to come out covered in grease and soot and everything else, and you're going to be black lung or whatever people want to talk about, whatever. But it feels like things have changed. Things have become a little more innovative. Can you talk a little bit about anything John Deere's done to kind of improve the manufacturing workflow and facility?
Yeah, sure. We talked about that a little bit before we got on the air here on some of the interconnected networks in the factory. Whether it was affected by the Verizon outage yesterday, but it's a high tech manufacturing environment. We've got electronic work instruction deliveries. We've got wireless automated guided vehicles driving around the factories. We've got automation to help with some of the heavy lifting that you might have thought of when you think about the old manufacturing, that we're not throwing hundreds of pounds of steel all day long. We've got automated manipulators to help with that. It's a clean environment. It's a comfortable environment. It's we have all of our PPE and hearing protection, but many of our buildings are fairly quiet. Some of the stamping areas are a little louder, but it's definitely probably not what you think about with the old foundry black lung mentality in some of the movies. It's a high tech manufacturing environment, and that frankly is part of the draw of working there. You get to work with some of these state of the art manufacturing tools, some of the quality control methods. We've got cameras that take a picture of the parts to make sure that we're building good product every day. We've got controls, safety related controls to make sure that the machines aren't moving when folks are in there. So very high tech manufacturing environment. And that's, part of the thing that, excites many of us in terms of working there is it's really cool stuff that you get to work with every day. And, in a lot of cases, develop the manufacturing of the future, how you want your workstation or your line or your factory to look.
This is where I then delve into my fun questions about things. Cause I always like to ask people's mentality, especially when they've been with the company for as long as you have. If your salary stayed the same, you keep exactly what you're making right now. That wasn't a consideration. Your benefits are the same. Everything else is the same. But you could do any one of the jobs that's at the facility. You could pick any one of them and do that job just because it's your favorite, it's the most fun, whatever, it's the most interesting to you. What would that one position be?
I really like the job I'm doing now. I've talked with my family about that it's really fun going to work every day. And, we talk about the technology and being proud of our products and things like that. But, John Deere to me is the people you get to go work with every day. Getting to talk with the people on the line every day, getting to sit down with our engineers every day. And, like I said, develop the factory of the future, the gator of the future strategies, the people that you work with every day. And, I think most people that have a job would say the same thing, that that's what brings you back. That's what really motivates you, is to be able to work with and collaborate with the people that are fun to be around every day.
What's if you can share, what's on the horizon for John Deere here in Wisconsin? Do you see anything that with the world changing and markets and inflation, all that, just put it aside, but what's the next step for John Deere here?
Yeah, our factory is tied primarily to the turf and utility vehicle product lines. So, I don't know that you're going to see any, large 1,000 horsepower tractors in Wisconsin or anything like that, but it's continuing to be on the cutting edge of what our turf and utility vehicle customers look for, so that we can continue to grow those product lines. So, some of our other riding lawn equipment factories in the Southeast have started developing battery electric vehicles. That is probably on our horizon somewhere. We are developing we actually have on the market auto driving gators that help with field mapping and things like that for some of our large customers. So GPS controlled gators interconnected equipment, so you can manage fleets of lawnmowers, gators, tied to other fleets of ag equipment or turf equipment or otherwise. So it's really kind of into that smart, connected vision that helps our customers provide value or enjoyment to their products.
That is really cool. I know I've talked with one of our local John Deere implement dealers in the area, and they talk about how a lot of the tractors out there that they have now have GPS links and almost drive themselves and do,
They do drive themselves,
right?
Yep.
And have really changed the efficiency and innovated the way farmers can do their job. The thought of bringing that to gators is massive. I think.
That's really one of the things that we've recently launched that we're pretty excited about. We've driven some increased demand on our gator product line because the customers that have those auto driving tractors use our gators to program the boundaries for their fields. That
is absolutely amazing. And of course, more and more cities are adopting now ATV and UTV ordinances, allowing them to be driven on city streets. So I've seen, at least it appears to me, like there's been an increased desire for these devices or these vehicles, and so I'm assuming that has maybe turned into a little bit more demand that you guys have seen.
Yeah, we like I said, we kind of think of ourselves as a work vehicle provider, but the people that are buying these for work are also using them for driving around town, hauling firewood or something like that.
I mean, you're working, but it's fun, right?
Right, yeah, and maybe they hunt and take it out into the woods or drive their trails with it. So it is a multi-purpose vehicle, and that's when I think of the growth of our factory, of our product line, it's really the expanded use of the products we're making and making sure that what our customers want to use them for, they're capable of doing.
So, Russ, we're running down just a couple minutes that I have left to talk with you before we move on to our next guest here today on Taking Care of Business. Before we do that, I got two final questions for you.
Yeah.
One, if somebody wants to know more about John Deere, if they want to either get in contact thinking about employment-wise, or if they're just curious, they want a little more information, what's the best way to get a hold of you guys?
Go to our website. There's johndeere.com. There's a careers page you can link to there. You're welcome to swing by the factory, talk to our front desk. We can get you paperwork there too. But generally, the website's the first place of reference. Frankly, the other thing I'd encourage you to do, if you know anybody that works for John Deere, talk to them. Don't take my word for it. Word of mouth tends to be our best advertising. The people that work at John Deere like working at John Deere for the most part, and they'll be happy to tell you about it if you know any of them.
And that leads very well into my final question, which is give me your 60-second or less elevator pitch. Why John Deere?
It's a career. It's you're not hiring in for a job. Pay and benefits are great, sure, but you're like I said, you're going to enjoy the people you work with. You're going to enjoy the work you do. There's plenty of variety, so you're not going to be signing up for 20 years at a stamping press or anything like that. You're going to be able to try new things. You're going to be able to develop yourself. The company will support that development and help you get to where you want to be, whether that's just staying in Horicon and working your way up the factory like many folks have done here, or if you got interest in large ag, riding lawn equipments, global exposure, it's all there, and I would say, 25, 24 years, whatever I'm at, it's always something new every day still. So no shortage of excitement is the way I put it, when we're in the factory. There's always problems to solve, and that's really the exciting part of working with our team there is working together to solve those problems, deliver quality equipment to our customers.
Russ, I want to thank you for taking the time and talking to us today, being our first guest as we kick off this look into manufacturing here in the month of October in the South Central Wisconsin area. Thanks for taking the time to come in and see us today.
You bet. Appreciate you having us.
All right. So that's Russ Hirschlip with John Deere here on Taking Care of Business. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to sit down with some representatives from Mittera on 95.3 WBEV and DailyDodge.com. And welcome back to Taking Care of Business. A reminder that this is a paid program. Advice and opinions expressed during the program are purely that of John Deere and Mittera, not necessarily WBEV or Good Karma Brands. As we come back in on 95.3 WBEV and DailyDodge.com, Daily Dodge TV, I do have Brian Weicker, perfect, and Jamie Krenz here with me today. And you guys are with Mittera. Am I saying that correct?
You are, yep.
Okay. And I guess we're going to start off by just telling me, what exactly is Mittera?
Well, I'll start with that. We're a commercial printing company. We're right down the street from the station on Bickel Avenue in Beaver Dam. We have a pretty large manufacturing facility and employ about 140 people.
Oh, that's a good number of people. Now, when you say printing, what exactly are you printing? Like, are we talking like hardcover books I get at the Barnes & Noble, or what are we looking at?
We print catalogs and magazines, so mostly catalogs from 16 to 80 pages, sometimes in the hundreds of pages, to monthly publications. National Dragster is a big customer of ours. Some special interest, smaller quantity. When I say smaller, 30, 40,000 a month for a magazine, sometimes up to 150 or 200,000.
See, in my brain, that still feels like a very big quantity, but I guess when you think about magazine distribution, that's still a fairly small number.
Right.
Before we get more into what Mittera does, let's talk a little bit about what you guys do at Mittera. So whichever one of you wants to go first, tell me what your position is there. Tell me a little bit about your history with Mittera.
I'll go first. I'm the Human Resources Manager. I'm going on 9 years of HR experience, but 2.5 years at Mittera. So I'm learning that print is very challenging. I learn something new every day, so I'm really enjoying it.
Okay.
And I've been in printing about 35 years now, which the numbers get crazy when you talk about it, but I've been with Mittera about 7.
Okay. And what do you do there at Mittera?
I am the general manager, so
okay.
I run the plant. I started that about 5 years ago. Been in print management for a long time, been part of production for most of my career. So I started on the floor just doing just general help at my original company and then worked my way up, which is pretty common in printing.
Now, I imagine a lot of people have probably driven by the Mittera building and not really thought twice about what goes on inside. Give us a little bit of insight. How does this all work? What's the process like in there?
Well, our printing, it's called offset printing. So we load our big presses with rolls of paper. A roll of paper is between 3,000 and 4,000 pounds and about 35 inches wide. And we'll print 8, 16, 32 pages at one time through the press. It prints on both sides, and the press can fold it at the end of it. So it'll come out a folded piece, however many pages we can print at one time. We'll do multiple, it's called a signature, multiple runs to create a magazine at the end. So we'll print it, put it in our finishing department to assemble the magazine or catalog with staples or glue.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool, and it's a pretty fast process. The presses can run between 30,000 to 50,000 pieces an hour. So we have 4 big presses. We're installing a 4th right now. That keeps things moving through there.
Now, as we're talking about manufacturing, and we're talking specifically about Manufacturing Month, printing is one of those manufacturing things that people, I guess, maybe don't think about when they think about manufacturing initially. They usually think about that welding, that grinding, that painting, whatever.
Yeah.
But print magazines, things like that, have been around forever. And even with the advantage of digital and stuff, I still like physically getting that magazine in the mail.
Yeah.
Tell me why or how Mittera is keeping themselves prominent in this industry.
Well, Mittera is a relatively young company as far as printers go, and we started started a plant in Iowa, in Newton, Iowa, is the origin of Mittera, and through acquisition, we've grown now to 17 plants throughout the country. Print in general has been an industry that's contracted. It's gotten smaller, but there are still big players, and Wisconsin is huge in print with Quad Graphics and a lot of big printers that do what we do we kind of compete for each other's work, but a place like Quad is way bigger than we are. But so we do different types of business. Our other plants throughout the country do sheet fed work. We'll do specialty print for retail spaces. We do a lot of different kinds of print. We also have a design and technology division based in Des Moines. So we're pretty diversified for what we can do.
Now, you mentioned how many different locations you have across the United States. What sets the Wisconsin location apart, or what makes it important to what Mittera's overall vision is?
What we do is medium to high run, high quality web printing work. So on a web means you're feeding it with a roll of paper instead of sheets. Our specialty is mailing. We have expertise in mailing and just high quality. So a lot of the people that work for us have been in print a long time. That building that we're in started as Conley Printing, which is a Beaver Dam company that's been acquired by J.B. Keenahan and then by Mittera, but a lot of the same employees are there 30 or 40 years still.
Let's talk a little bit about the people. So obviously you have people that have been there forever, that sounds like. I'm guessing that means you got to bring new people in periodically because people are going to retire and are going to move out. What does Mittera do for their people to keep them on hand, for one, and to recruit new people?
Yeah. So we have internal career paths. When people come in, we jump them on the career path, make sure they're supported to grow in a career in print. We also have 2 internal leadership programs. So one of them is our LEAD program, one of them is Mittera University. So those are for people that we see future leadership potential in, so we'll put them on those programs. We also have educational assistance, so if anybody wants to take a certification program or pursue a degree if it relates to their position, we're supporting that educational assistance for that. But, we also just like to do fun things, keep the people engaged. We did a survey probably a year and a half ago, just what do you want to see? What do you want to do? Because we've learned that pay and benefits are not everything these days. Obviously, they're important, of course.
You got to have that culture too, right?
Yeah, the culture. What do you do for your employees? How do you keep them engaged? So, we've sprinkled in so much stuff. We got a lot of really good feedback from that survey. We do, Popcorn Wednesdays. We've had a lot of cookouts. We're doing a deer hunting contest right now, ugly sweater contests, little small things to keep people engaged, to keep people having fun. Our culture is very laid back. It's not, push for numbers, push. It's laid back. Everybody knows they need to work hard and obviously produce quality products, but we have fun while we do it. It's not a small plant by any means. Again, we have 140 employees, but, we're small enough that everybody knows everybody and cares for one another and supports each other.
Are you seeing, are you guys having to outreach to get people to kind of look at Mittera as a career, or are you guys finding that people are finding you organically?
A little bit of both. I will say, right now we're looking for some skilled people, so that's a little harder to find, so we are doing some outreach for that. Kind of what you said earlier, people have driven past our plant, probably have no idea what we do. It's not in our logo. It doesn't say commercial printer. So we're trying to get the word out about us and who we are. We're trying to get more involved in the community. We do have somebody on our management team who is actively involved in the chamber in Beaver Dam, so that's been a great help to us. But yeah, we do some outreach. We have had a lot of word of mouth stuff, so yeah, we're just trying to get the word out.
That makes a lot of sense. I love the fact that you mentioned that you have the Mittera University. Manufacturers nowadays, I think, have had to lean into that continued training, that continued growth, because not everybody goes to school to get a management degree and comes out and says, I'm going to go run a printing office, right? So that is amazing. Are there any other unique benefits that you guys might offer?
All kinds of things. We do, if we have Spanish-only people that want to learn English, we do provide, we partner with Marine Park Technical College. They go and do English as a second language courses. So We pay for them either to go on their own time, we pay their wage to do that, or we're paying for them to go during company time, whatever works better with the schedule we have going on. But they really appreciate that so that they can learn and grow into leadership positions that may require the English language to be learned. But yeah, I mean, anything else you can think of specific?
One of the things you mentioned earlier is our career path. So there's a lot of entry-level positions. But one of the things we encourage is job growth. We have as we grow, we need more people who can operate these big machines. And there's not a school you can go to anymore to learn how to run a press or run a saddle stitcher. But we offer it on the job. So if people show that initiative, we're there to help support them, education and monetarily. So it's a win-win. You can just keep growing if you put the effort in.
Mm-hmm. Now, I would imagine that there are probably some people out there who are going to say, oh, well, this is print, and I feel like in 5 years print media is going to be dead, or in 10 years print media is going to be dead. What do you say to those people to convince them that that's probably not going to be the case?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, 'cause I've been in it a long time, and when the internet first started, when it first started, it was like, well, print's not going to make it. And what we found is, the publication, like the monthly publications, have gone down, like Time Magazine and Sports Illustrated, but the specialty stuff has really boosted as people have found special interests. They find the magazine just a better place to get that information. The catalog work we do has just kept growing and growing because there's so much noise, I think, with digital advertising. Getting something in the mail and having it on your counter or your table, and it's there the next day usually. You look at it, it gets your interest, it might drive you to a website, but the catalog market is just growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, that makes me think my grandfather used to get, I won't say the name of the company, but it was an outdoor company. And he would get their catalog, which would have all their baits and lures and things in it.
Yeah.
I remember being a very thin catalog as a kid, maybe 20 pages. And now, if you get that catalog, it shows up in your mailbox, it's 60, 70, 80 pages long.
Sure.
So there's so much more information being packed in there. So it sounds like quality is sometimes over quantity.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I want to talk about the facility itself, because when I think printing, I think, one, newspaper printing, late at night, got to get out in time for the morning run. I'm assuming you guys don't just work at night. There's got to be shifts, right?
Yeah, we do 3 shifts a day, 5 days a week is our normal schedule. We work some Saturdays and weekends to fulfill big orders. But yeah, it's 5 days a week, 24 hours a day. Normally, it's not like the newspaper where it's news in and it's out. It's a lot of planning, getting the proper paper, the different grades and weights of paper that we go through, getting that ordered, getting all the materials needed, and getting it in the mail. We use the U.S. Post Office to deliver about 90 million pieces of mail out of our plant every year. It's a lot. So we're the biggest customer in Beaver Dam for the post office.
I imagine, yeah.
And we have a post office person in our plant every day that verifies our mail. So it's pretty exciting that way. A lot of what we do will go through the post office, or we will ship it directly to whoever we're printing for.
More into the facility, let me know about what's in place for safety, environment, cleanliness, all of that, because I'm thinking printing machines, I mean, I use the printer here, and somehow I walk away with toner on me. Like, what's it like now working at a printing facility?
Safety is super important to us. It's a top priority. We want everybody to go home the same way that we came. The plant is very clean. I hear that a lot. People come into our plant, it's not your normal manufacturing. They come in and they're like, man, it's really clean in here, but that's a big part of safety. We have a very active safety committee. We have first responders in-house. It's top priority. We want it to be clean.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Obviously you've been in printing before. Were you here before Mittera acquired the location?
No, I came after Mittera acquired the location. I came to help support the sales team with my technical skills, and then eventually was asked to become more of management, and then the general manager eventually after 2 years. So,
What was your first job in printing?
my first job was to take product off the end of a press, and then I went into pre-press, which is back then it was using film to build pages, do color breaks, and add photos to pages. That was back in the day of paste up boards and film cameras. I'm dating myself, but
Well, that's okay. It's all right.
and then things started going digital with desktop publishing. The first Apple computers were coming out. Boy, it's getting worse now. Yeah, and then things became more digitized. The size of pre-press probably shrunk by 90% because of the automation. Our work comes in through the internet now. We have a whole portal that our customers log into to send us their pages that they assemble. We make sure everything looks good, put them in the right order, and start printing. So,
All right. Now, how about you? You said you've been doing HR for a while.
Mm-hmm.
What took you from where you were to Mittera? Why Mittera?
I had heard about Mittera through some other people who had worked there. But honestly, when I interviewed with Brian, I said, I'm looking for a company that treats their employees right. I'm looking for a genuine partnership with the management team and just a place that supports growth and is comfortable and safe. And he told me all of those things were true, and it's held true to today. So I'm super grateful for that. I love being able to implement things and have the support from the rest of the leadership team to do fun things with the employees, because that's super important to me as an HR manager, to make sure that your employees have input and can join in on the fun things, and make sure that you keep them engaged. Otherwise, they're not going to stay. They're going to go to the next company that's providing the next best thing. Right. So I have the autonomy to do those things with the team, and the team really seems to love it, and I'm just really enjoying it.
I think you touched on something that some people probably know and don't even think about, and that's with there being so many manufacturers in the area, it can be kind of easy to have the grass is greener on the other side mentality. But, talking to people who work there, getting that idea like you did, and kind of knowing what you were walking into probably helped quite a bit. Have you found that people are generally excited to come in and work at Mittera? And do you see any fall off on that excitement as people come in?
I don't think so. People seem to be happy to come to work. Like I said, we're a smaller group, and everybody knows everybody, and everybody engages in the fun. I don't see it falling off. We have a really involved events committee, so we're always bouncing ideas off of each other and getting input again from the employees. Like, what do you want to see? What keeps you going? And we've really sprinkled a lot in these last couple of years that have made a really big difference. So we're just going to keep doing that. We have a couple more things for the rest of this year that we're adding on that are new, and we're planning to do the same thing next year. So just, we got to keep things going and adding new things and making sure people are having fun.
right, and it keeps the turnover rate has really reduced since we were able to add a lot of those things and be engaging. It still can be an issue, but it's not as bad, let's say, as it was 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
But yeah, it's a tough area because there is so much manufacturing. So you do have to work to keep your good people and make sure they enjoy coming to work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking back just a few years to obviously that hard time all across the world when COVID was kind of a thing. And I know a lot of different manufacturers got hit in different ways. Either lines had to be shut down entirely because, hard to keep people socially distanced, or, it's hard to have something here that's being worked on that's being passed to another person who has to touch it, that sort of thing. Did that affect you guys there at Mittera heavily or at all?
The toughest part for us was our supply chain. So a lot of printing actually had a kind of a boom period because of getting information out to people. There were a lot of people had a little extra money at the time, and we're spending it. So there's a lot of catalog work that just kept coming during that time. We kept running. We were deemed an essential business because of what we did in our building and what some of the other plants did. So we were able to stay open and had pretty much everything going through the whole thing. We did put a lot of safety things in place and a lot of safeguards for transmission and all that, but came out of it pretty strong.
That's awesome. Unfortunately, we are getting close to the end of the show, so I'd have to start winding things down a little bit. But much like I did with John Deere, I want you guys to first tell me, how does somebody get a hold of Mittera if they're interested? If they're saying this could be the place for me, or maybe I've done other manufacturing, but I'm like, maybe printing is where I live. That's where I should be. How do they find you guys?
Yeah, so they can go to Mittera.com, and we do have a careers page. You can filter that to our Beaver Dam location, check out the job opportunities that we have. Feel free to stop in. We are always open to giving people a tour. You want to come check us out, you want to do an interview, whatever you want to do. Our phone number's on Google there too. You can check us out, and we'd be happy to meet you.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and what I'd say, if you're somebody looking for a career and maybe you haven't really looked into print, it's got a lot of potential, and there's a lot of different areas in print that from maintenance to running a $15 million press. You can do that just walking in and having the right attitude and willingness to learn. It's pretty cool.
I'll add on to that really quick. Just with our open job opportunities, we're currently looking for saddle stitcher operators, folder operators, web offset press operators, roll tenders, a maintenance technician, and a data and mailing specialist. So if any of those jump at you, please feel free to jump on our website, and or if you don't have that experience, we'll put you on our career path.
There you go. I love it. Either one of you, doesn't matter which one, give me your why Mittera 1-minute pitch.
Well, I'll say we're a big company, but we're run like a small company. We have a lot of opportunities for growth, and I'm on the floor every day along with the other management team that will help you grow and listen to what people have to say. If they have good ideas, or if they just see something that they'd like done differently, we'll help them with that. We have a good open door policy, and we all are proud of our plant and really enjoy it. Print is here to stay. It's growing. Our plant is growing, adding equipment, and we just would like people with willingness and excitement to come work for us.
Awesome. I want to take the time to thank you, Brian Weicker, and you, J.B. Krenz, for coming in, talking to me today about Mittera. I was one of those people who drove by. I had no idea. I'd look at the building, go past it, heading towards like the dog park area over there and whatever, and wouldn't even think twice about that facility. But now I'm going to have to maybe, look and glance in the windows a little bit and see what's going on. So thank you for coming and enlightening us all on that and taking the time today.
Yes, thank you.
Not a problem at all. This has been a paid program. The advice and opinions expressed during that program are that of Mittera and earlier John Deere, not necessarily WBEV or Good Karma Brands.